You look very
I look so weird. I look like a librarian. Hello. So our camera's going to be up here this time. Yeah. Hello. We are live. We're so excited to be going live to chat with you today. We've got a lot going on in the market. So we decided to come on and just kind of give you an update about what the heck's going on with the market, but more so importantly, talk about how you can fix your credit or how you can maybe not mess your credit up in a time where a lot of people are kind of messing up their credit these days because of inflation, right?
Yeah, inflation's causing a little bit of trouble on some people's finances. So
I'm here with my great friend, Amber Coleman from Guild Mortgage. I like doing that.
It's always good to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Did you win another award?
I did.
Oh, she didn't know I was going to ask about that. You're like, oh, I can't believe you're making me talk about it. What award did we win, my friend?
It was the 2022 Top Women Originators.
I'm sorry, the 2022 Top Women Originators in the United States is sitting right next to me, and she talks to us every week. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for making me blush. I know, you didn't even, I know, I purposely don't tell her that I'm going to bring up her awards because she hates talking about them. But just a quick reminder, if you're congratulations, first of all. We only work with the best on our team, and this is obviously why. If you are here watching us live, please take the time to comment. Let us know you're here, say hello, but also throw a comment and a question if you need to in the box. We would love to answer that by the end of the live stream today. We're going live a few minutes early just to see if we can rev you guys up and get you excited. But the market's kind of crazy and all over the place. More so than ever, though, we're seeing a lot of people call us with either the expectation that they can't buy now because they can't afford to pay all their credit cards off, or they this and that happened during the pandemic or this last year with inflation and it hit their credit. And so there's a lot of people panicking and pulling themselves out of the ring to buy a house. And we're trying to come here today and tell you, stop. We're going to tell you not only how you can fix your credit, how you can keep it going strong, but also some ideas on what to do in terms of buying a house right now, because now is the time to get a deal. Am I right?
It is the time to get a deal. And you know how we love bringing hope. We don't like that darkness.
We don't bring fear. We bring
hope.
We are going to ask you to be greedy though, because others are fearful. Yes. So we're going to, our friend Warren Buffett.
We should have just put that on our vision board.
Be greedy.
Like that's our vision.
Phrase of the year. So thank you for those who are joining us. Amber, let's talk about inflation and what's going on with the market updates as of like this last week.
Okay. Well, inflation, when we got on live last week, it was right after the Fed spoke, and everything went crazy after the Fed spoke.
Yep.
Like, basically what they said kind of scared the market,
which is what they wanted to do, right? So they got what they wanted.
They're trying to calm down the markets. That's what they're trying. It's a purposeful thing. They were very strategic on how they did it. Plus, on top of that, there's been news like in Europe that they're having some problems too. So that's affecting our industry as well. That's affecting not our industry, but our economy.
Well, we're a world economy, so things do absolutely have a pro and a con depending on where it happens.
Yeah,
we all feel it, right?
Yeah, we're feeling it. So basically the markets went crazy for the last week. Today, we finally saw it start to calm down.
That's awesome.
And the reason why it's calming down is because Europe is coming out with ideas on how they can calm theirs down too.
Got it.
We're kind of feeding off of their market. So, I mean, definitely a good thing. We're starting to see it calm. So it's going to land somewhere. But, I mean, in these rides, especially with inflation, you know how we talked before about one day it's inflation, the next day it's recession.
Right.
So one day it goes low, the next day it goes high.
Yeah, it feels like we're on a roller coaster.
We're still doing those roller coasters. We just changed the words.
Welcome to the roller coaster. We're glad you're here with us for this fun ride. Yeah. The ride of the century.
We're all in it together. Yeah. We're all in it together. Yeah. And the words change occasionally over what it goes up and down with. Today it started to move down because of what's happening in Europe.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the word is next week.
So bottom line is the markets are always going to be doing this up and down. I think that's something we want to remind you of when we come to you and speak to you each and every week. Our message is never going to change. There's always a good time to buy. There's always hope. There's always an opportunity. It just depends on what side of the fence you're on, what angle you're looking to take advantage of, and how this affects you. But whether rates are 19% or they're 2%, there's always going to be a reason that we're going to come to you and tell you, what's happening today. And if you fit in the category that we say today is a good person that should be a buyer, then we want to talk to you for sure.
We're going to tell you how to work this market, whatever market we're in. We're going to tell you how to work it.
You better work. All right, let's say hi to a few people before we jump into some other stuff here. Let's say hi. Let's see. Hey, Rhonda Walker. Good to see you. Hey, Tracy Johnson. Thanks for joining. She said hello to the best duo in Vegas. And congrats, Amber. Huge congratulations. Rhonda says, I was just about to get in the shower when you went live. Well, hello, Rhonda. You can watch us while you're in the shower if you want to. Juan says hello. Hey, Juan. Let's see. Taron says hi. We got Brent says hi, and well deserved, and Martha G. So thank you guys for joining us live. Keep on coming on live. Please let us know. Let us know if you have questions. You know, the one thing we wanted to talk to you about today that was, I think, kind of on both of our minds is, you know, who should we be really reaching out to when it's this kind of a market, when it's crazy? Are we reaching out to the people who are, you know, waiting for the rates to fall and for the markets to crash and for houses to lose value? No. Are we reaching out to the people who, you know, pulled themselves off the market last year because they couldn't afford or didn't have extra money in the pocket to compete with the crazy competitive market? Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. And the reality is too, we're also reaching out to people who need to move, right? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. We're not looking for deals and not shopping deals to you right now based on the rates. We're shopping other deals to you. And we're going to talk a little bit about what that means. Volatility in the inflation inflation is causing volatility in a lot of home rates, but it's also causing a lot of people, you know, to be spending more money that they weren't planning on spending, weren't budgeted, right?
Yeah, like the incomes haven't gone up, but you're still spending money, right?
And that's leading to a lot of people like maybe not being able to make their card payments on time, maybe not being able to make their credit card payments, things like that. Have you seen a lot of that come through?
I did. In fact, there was one day that I pulled 7 applications, and 5 out of 7 applications had recent lates on like car loans.
Recent late payments.
Late payments on car loans, credit cards. So do you want me to go into like
let's talk about that. Yeah.
So I think right now when it's a time where your income level is here, right, and your expenses are going a lot higher, then we just kind of buckle down and we pay attention to the bills. So what I've done is I go in and I help people dissect it. Okay, so here's what your bills are. What additional bills do you have? Here's your income. What's a reasonable amount of money that you can put away in your savings account every month? And just kind of keep in mind, like we can dissect it like that so that we can help you kind of get things in order. But then also kind of look at your bills in a way that if you don't have all the money to pay your credit cards down right now, we know that this is just a storm right now, right?
Yeah.
You don't want your credit to be damaged based off of all this storm that's happening. So most of the time when you're making your payments, you're going to make like a certain amount on your credit cards, which is higher than the minimum payments. If you can't do it, just make the minimum right now. We know this storm is not going to continue, just like every storm doesn't continue. So make the minimum. That way you're not damaging your credit by getting the late on it. Right. So right now it's just getting through the storm, right? So if you have to make your car payment, your rent payments, there's not a lot of excess, and you want to pay your credit cards down, what I'm seeing some people do is then they go late on their car, but then that damages the credit score, which then puts you behind from your goals, because anything you buy is going to take credit, right? So then just make the minimum on your loan or your credit cards while the storm is going.
Now I want to pause you for a minute because I'm going to tell you right now, you know, there's a reason that you are one of the top 200 female originators in the United States, because I don't know very many or any, honestly, and if you're out there, forgive me, but I don't know any lenders that I've worked directly with that'll stop and spend the time to do that with you to help you get to your goal. This isn't because she makes money on the phone call. You don't pay for this advice. You don't pay for services to help fix your credit. This is literally because she cares and we care about what your goals are. And then the goal hopefully should be ultimately to buy a home here in Las Vegas and live your best Las Vegas life. That's what we're here to do, is tell you how to do all angles of that, right?
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. But home is where it really starts. And, you know, Amber is so patient and her team is so smart about being able to help you look at things a little bit differently. A lot of it's stuff you've heard from everyone online. Pay the minimum payment. Make sure you don't have more than this much on the credit card. Make sure you don't, all of that. But also there's a lot of like a bad knowledge out there that has really messed people up. So it's kind of why we wanted to go live today, to really just let you know it's still a good time to buy. It's still a good time for real, especially if you're looking for a deal. And the deals that are out there are going to be people paying for closing costs and paying for your rates to come down and things like that. But before we can even get you there, we got to talk about the credit. And because there's so many that have been coming up this year due to inflation, due to maybe job change, due to job loss, mostly due to the pandemic, and all of this is due to the pandemic, right? All of this is a trickle effect.
Yeah, it's all kind of
we're still dealing with the pandemic, whether or not it's a pandemic. And so all of that being said, you know, we want to get out there in front of it and say, hey, we know we're telling you to buy a home, there's a deal. Many of you may think you can't because you think you have bad credit, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And many of you might be unfortunately and accidentally not thinking about it as of right now, and you're ruining your credit anyway, and you figure, well, I'm never going to be able to buy, right? So we want to get ahead of it and let you know, like, please don't ruin your credit in this moment. Please make your minimum payments. Please make phone calls. We're going to talk about a few other things that are going to help you through that. But more so than ever, we want to dispel some of the bad information out there, the rumors, the information that is really just kind of sending you down the wrong path. I think that's the goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Love it.
So now is a good time to buy, and now is a good time to get a deal. And if you're one of the people who's just like Amber said, is maybe made a few late payments this year, hasn't really been thinking about their credit, so it hasn't really been a priority, we need to make sure we talk to you today, because even though we're saying now is a good time to buy and get a good deal, we think now is going to last for the next few months, right? And we could possibly get that fixed for you and get you lined up so that you can actually take advantage of the timing that we have, where builders are giving away the houses basically as much as they can, and sellers are really doing anything they can to offload their property. So, so I know we wanted to talk about how some tips to fix. I know, so you talked about a little bit, make the minimum payment, right? So if you're struggling right now to make your credit card payments, I like to, on my credit cards, pay a little bit more each than the minimum every month. Otherwise you're just paying interest, right?
Yeah.
So that's one tip. What's another tip that we can give people to either fix issues that have come up on their credit or prevent themselves from getting into trouble?
Well, okay, so to fix issues on the credit, so how I look at the credit is kind of like a balance beam, right? So when something negative hits, so like say you have one late sometimes equals like 30, 40 points. So you have one late payment hit and it drops you down, right? But if you don't have anything happening positive on your credit and that hit, then you're a little bit off balance, right?
Right.
So you have to balance that out and bring positivity to your credit scores.
Right.
So it's kind of like a balancing act.
See, and I never thought of it that way. I always thought, oh, there's bad stuff on my credit, I need to get those bad things off, which you do, but I never realized there were things I could do to counteract it.
Because time, like let's say something really big hits your credit. Like, we've had bankruptcies, foreclosures. Those are big things. You can't do anything about that, right?
Right.
But time heals everything.
Right.
So
time heals all wounds.
It
does.
That. Yeah. So sometimes people, will think that, okay, I can't do anything because I had all this stuff hit. But you don't realize that sometimes time would have already taken care of that.
Right.
And if we just balance that out with something positive over here.
What's something positive they can balance it with?
Well, like I talked to some people that have had, life hits us sometimes, right?
It's hit me in the face a few times.
And what happens when life hits? It usually hits you in all kinds of different ways, but financially it hits you, right? And then what happens? Your credit goes down. Right. Like that's just what happens. Time heals all those wounds. So the biggest thing that I'll tell people when I'm looking at credit and life has hit them, and there's been things that hit bad on the credit, and their credit's down here, and you don't have any open credit cards open, because when one thing goes down, they all cut you off, and then so sometimes
you cut yourself off because you think I shouldn't spend any money on a credit card.
And so sometimes your mind just goes, forget it. You just kind of give up.
I've done that.
Yeah, and that's what most people do. You just kind of give up. But if that's happened, and then you don't know how to dig yourself out of it, then let's start here. Okay. So one way to start is you can open up a secured credit card. And when I say that, people are like, wait, nobody's going to give me a credit card. It's not a credit card in the sense of credit card, right? Secured credit card is you're going to give $300 to the bank, and you're putting up the money for the credit card.
Right.
All they're doing is providing the card to you. And because they're providing a card, they're going to put it on your credit.
So they're going to pretend it's a credit card, but it's your money you're spending. You're basically depositing money into a bank account that you spend it as if it's on a credit card.
Yeah.
Right.
And then some people will think, great, I have $300. Let me go spend it. No, don't do that. You're investing in yourself when you put that $300. Right. So look at this as, yay, I'm giving to myself. It's about time, right? Like give to yourself. You're investing in yourself. So the best way to do that now is to play the ratios. The credit reporting agencies weigh you based off of what they can see that you're doing. So if you look responsible, meaning you have a $300 credit card, they don't know the difference between unsecured and secured.
Right.
So
that's
you have
great.
A $300 credit card secured, right? Because you put the money up, only charge up to $30 on it.
Now that's pay for your coffee, pay for your gas, pay for something that you were going to pay out of your debit card anyway, right? Don't go charge something to that credit card that you didn't need. Like utilize this for something you were going to pay already. Pay a bill, right? Pay something that equals 10% of that card.
10% of the card, yeah. And then when you go to pay it, don't pay it all the way down to zero. So when the payday comes or the due date comes, pay it down to $10. Then go back up to $30. And then when the next due date comes, pay it down to $10. you're showing the bureaus who are weighing you based off of a score system, right? That you are responsible because you're not charging more than 10% of what you can.
That's a total credit hack. A lot of people, and it's your own money that you're spending, right? So you have the $300, you're just replenishing back up to the $290 or whatever it is that we end up doing. But you're literally tricking the credit bureaus to think that you're actually paying off a credit card every month.
Because it's a system. So you can work a system, right? So you're just trying to balance things out. So some of the negative that you have, you keep doing that, and it's all of a sudden balancing out to a little bit more positive.
That's cool. So it's giving you points while this one's weighing down the other side. So it's a teeter-totter.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And then what we can do is we can look at what's weighing you down and say, okay, let's figure out a savings plan so we can start one at a time. One at a time. Life hits. You got this. You can do it. I've had credit problems happen before. You said you did too, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And time does heal things.
But you have to do the work on the other side.
If you're focused and you do the work on the other side, sometimes you just need a helping hand to say, here's what to do. Here's your list of what to do. And just follow it. Just follow it.
Another trick that you shared with me a couple years ago that actually worked. I had a family member that didn't have credit, like literally had no credit. And I at the time had great credit. So I put that person's name as an authorized user on one of my credit cards. They didn't get a card. They weren't allowed to spend money. They weren't allowed to charge it. It was not like I was giving them access to, they weren't getting access to be able to spend my money. All they were doing was almost being endorsed by me saying, I have good credit. I'm going to let this person's name be attached to my credit. And after 30 days, that person had like 700 credit score. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Went from like 0 or pretty much 0 to like 700. So if you have a friend or a family member or someone who is willing to do that for you, it's definitely a good idea to maybe look into it. Now, does it reverse affect them if you have crappy stuff on your credit?
Yeah, so if you have a friend or family member that it's a great way to do it. You can boost your credit super high, super fast. But just make sure when the family member's adding you, it's a card in good standing, because if it's not in good standing, then it can take you down
negatively.
If they go late on it, then it can take you down. I mean, you can remove your name later on, but it's a good way to, like
it's like
parents,
a surge.
Parents will do that to kids all the time when they're starting life, because let's say that person had the card for 3 years.
Right.
You're going to get credit as if you've had that card for 3 years, because it'll be put on your credit. The date that it was opened is going to show the date that the card was open, not the date that you went on it.
Right.
So you'll get credit as if you've had that card for 3 years.
Awesome.
And you're basically piggybacking off of that other person, like that other family member's good credit. Nice. So it's definitely a great hack.
Those are two really good hacks that a lot of people don't think about. Now, we're telling you all this because, again, the goal is to get you to a place to where you feel good about yourself, you feel good about your credit. We're able to pull the credit numbers and look at you and say, hey, you're ready to buy. What I find funny is a lot of people may have heard us talk about those 2 tricks before. And there's other tricks that Amber can help you with one-to-one once she knows what your situation is. But so many people think that Credit Karma number online, or that, my bank or my credit card.
Well, let's talk about Credit Karma.
Well, not even just Credit Karma. Like my bank, my credit card tells me what my credit number is every single month. And if there's a change, they alert me, right? Is that the real credit number that you're using to find out if I can buy a house?
No, and this is the frustrating part for me. I wish that when I pull credit, it was the same credit
that would be
that
so
everybody
nice.
else pulls, but there's like 500 different versions of credit, right? So your bank's going to use a different version of credit. Credit Karma uses a different version of credit. So Credit Karma has done a great job at marketing how their version works.
Right.
And
but it's also made all of us think there's nothing else.
It has, because they've done a great job of marketing. They talk very well. They have a lot of good advertisements. Remember, they put those advertisements down there so that you download the Credit Karma app and you watch it from there, because they make money by advertising to you. So, but their version that they pull is different than mine as a mortgage bank.
And there's been moments where I've had someone call me and say, I just wanted to call and say hi. I love your channel. You always say it's okay to call even if you're not ready to buy. So we called. We have a lovely phone conversation. And in the conversation, I'm like, well, how come you're not ready to buy? What's the problem? Oh, you don't understand. I have some horrible credit. My Credit Karma score is 515. Okay, cool. But have you talked to a lender to see what the credit actually really is? No. My credit card tells me, my bank tells me, Credit Karma tells me, so I know I can't buy. Okay, cool. And then do me a favor, just talk to Amber. Just give her 1 minute to run you. Just please. Oh, I'm worried about inquiries, which we'll talk about in a minute. Okay, well, just do me this favor, talk to Amber. And you've pulled these people and they were like high 600s and ready to buy. Like it was like, a lot of savings, but my credit's too bad. And then it wasn't. And I was like, what?
Yeah. A lot of times, like by the time I get to it, I'm like, girl, your credit is perfect.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Or
why are you waiting?
Can totally get a loan. Like you thought you were in the dumps. I've seen online credit services, because I don't want to just pick on Credit Karma. Like, it's all just different versions. So they're doing the best that they could do with their version, right? But I've seen them low 100 points. I've seen them high 100 points and everything in between.
Right. So you don't trust the people that are actually making the decision on your loan. Yeah.
Don't think that just because you're seeing that online, that's the credit that we're pulling as creditors.
It's not.
It's completely different. It's a different version.
Your credit card uses the same thing Credit Karma uses. Your bank uses the same thing. Those online credit score things that you type in, that's all Credit Karma, essentially. It's not what Amber uses. So I just want to caution you to like not pull yourself out of the market from possibly being able to take advantage of this crazy granola crunchium awesome amazing time to get a good deal on a home. I know your rates may not be what they are, but we can get them there with help from the sellers and help from other people, right? There's other ways to get there. Please don't take yourself out of the buying pool. If you think your credit's bad, let her tell you your credit's not ready.
And I love how you said there's other ways of getting there.
Yeah, there's always another way.
Let's think outside the box. Everybody's doing it one way. That means we need to do it a different way.
And we always do. And that's why you are, once again, top 200 female originators in the United States. I'm just super proud of the fact that I only work with the best. And I don't know the other 199, but it doesn't matter. They're probably not in Nevada. They're right here. This one's one I'm working with. So if you guys have thought that maybe you don't have a good enough credit system, or you just know your credit's bad, or you know what you think you know, I promise you probably don't. So it might be worth taking time to chat with Amber. Even if you're not planning to buy for another year, better to call now so that we can help you. She's amazing. She walked through just a few steps earlier about, well, we pay this and you pay that down, and oh, this will come off there, da-da-da-da. She'll walk you through all the steps that are going to take to fix any issues that are there, or to secure the current good, awesome credit that you have and not let it go to the sideways, right?
I mean, sometimes I wish this stuff was taught in school, but to be honest with you, it's not taught. So when we're going through it, don't feel, some people are like, well, I feel so dumb. I feel like you're almost like I'm going to judge you. I'm not, because it's not taught. And you don't know how many time of the day that I'll spend saying, do this, do that, do this, do that. I've seen so many people go from, I never thought I would own before, to home ownership.
And that's because we're out here just constantly trying to bring nothing but hope. There is hope. I know that there's darkness on the news. I know that it sounds like,
but there's always darkness on the news.
So stop watching the news. Hear the news right here, people, and allow us to just tell you, we're not always going to be just talking about buying houses, but now is the time where we feel it's super, super important to do so, because there is so much negativity and also bad information out there. One of the things about credit specifically that I even was mistaken about was that inquiries damage your credit.
Yeah, they've done a great job on that one.
That's not true, FYI.
That sold Credit Karma. I mean, I feel like I'm picking on Credit Karma.
Well, Credit Karma is the one that everybody knows. So
that's the one that's putting the commercials out. That's their version of credit. So, like, let's say you go to buy a house. A lot of times I'll talk to people about, my credit's bad, I don't want another inquiry. It's going to make it worse. It's going to make it worse. So it's all categorized in the category that you're doing it. And if the reason why if inquiries will hurt you only when you pull them with excess, right? So like if you're calling just to see where you're at and we pull your credit once, that's not going to hurt your credit, because what's the point of having credit? It's so that we can extend credit to you.
Right. And the only way to know if we can is to look at the credit.
Pull it. So would that be fair for the creditors that's who we're pulling through as a creditor report, to hit your credit if you pulled it once because you're trying to get credit? It wouldn't. That's the only reason why you have credit. There's no other reason, is to be able to get houses, cars, credit cards. That's the only reason why it exists. Am I missing anything?
No,
is there any other way?
Inquiries don't harm your credit
unless you pull them in excess. So like, let's say that you go to buy a house, a car, opening up credit cards, you're doing everything at the same time. Then the bureaus are like, whoa, we're trying to take advantage here, and they'll start pulling back your credit. If you start pulling it too many times, then it'll start pulling you back. But in the same category, so like if you go to get a mortgage and you have ABC Mortgage pull your credit, and then you have
Guild Mortgage pull your credit,
and then you have another pull your credit, in a certain period of time, we're all going to pull the same credit.
So it's just 30 days, I think they say, within 30 days-ish?
Like 14 days is the last I heard, because they change these rules all the time, right? So so that you have the opportunity to shop your loan and see what's best for you, you have, like, it wouldn't be fair for them to drop your scores.
Same thing if you're looking to buy a car, right? If I'm going to buy a car and I go to Finley Honda and I go down the street to Volkswagen, and I go down the street to Tesla, and I go down. I do that all within a tight period of time, and it makes sense that they're all seriously I'm shopping different vendors, then it may hit the same way, correct?
Yeah, it may. I don't know how the auto loans work because I know they pull like in excess.
And actually, I think they pull and they look at a bunch of them.
They pull and then send it out to a whole bunch of people that pull too.
But another example is like the point is that if you're doing it to get credit, then it can't damage you. If you're doing it because I went to Macy's and I tried to get their card and they said no. So then I went next door to to Dillard's and I tried to get their card and they said no. And then I went down to here. They're going to think that you're trying desperately to get credit to spend money on it, right?
Yeah, or if you're doing too much at the same time, like if you try to buy multiple houses at the same time, like if you're trying to buy not houses because that can be pulled on one credit bureau, but like let's say you're buying a house, you're buying a car, you're buying another car, then you're opening up credit cards at the same time. Number one, they might pull back because they might think that your credit got hacked, right? Because it's being pulled all the time. And or that you might be doing more than what you can afford, and then eventually you're not going to be able to pay it. So those are the reasons why the credit bureaus will pull back. But one inquiry to check on a house isn't going to hurt your credit scores based off how we pull credit.
Right. How Credit Karma may look like it hurts it, but again, what are you using Credit Karma for?
They're not a creditor extending credit to you. They're just a service that's using a different way of pulling
help
credit.
you monitor what's happening with your credit.
And I wish it wasn't so confusing. It seems really weird that they'd make it so confusing, right? Like,
well, because their purpose and your purpose are different, right? Credit Karma and the credit cards and all the people that are telling you what your credit score is today are either trying to figure out how to sell you something that you could use that credit for, or they're trying to help you monitor your credit so that you don't get it stolen, have your identity stolen.
Well, and it's a good way for them to advertise too. If they come up with these tricky things to advertise people to hook them in.
There they go.
And that's probably what it's for.
So, just wanted to dispel some rumors about bad credit, fixing your credit, give you some ideas on what you could do. The biggest message of today's live stream and what we're trying to do with you is to bring hope and to remind you it is still an amazingly good time to buy. And everybody that talks to us says, I want to get a good deal. I want to get a good deal. Now's the freaking time to get a good deal. You're not going to get it. Don't listen to the rates and things like that. That's not the good deal center, right? You're going to get the deal over on the other side, right? You can't get the house for free and get the best rate and get no down payment and get a free grant. Like that doesn't work, right? There's balance.
I wish it did. How do you figure
that would be amazing. I'm still working it out. If I figure it out, I'll do a live stream and we'll all buy billions of houses together, right? You've got to really take into account. So whereas earlier this year the rates were super duper low, house prices went high. So that was the balance, right? There wasn't as much free stuff on the table.
There weren't a balancing beam.
I know there weren't sellers. I know that would be more like a law thing, but yeah, there weren't sellers. The balances of justice. Anyway, there weren't sellers giving things away. Right now we're in a different situation. There's more homes. The rates are different. They're much higher. So there's less buyers on the market. So guess what? You're not getting your free stuff over here. You're going to get it over here, right? So we just about us helping you.
Change the way you think.
Yeah, we just
change the way you think.
So stop listening to the news. Stop assuming you're not ready to buy. I guarantee you're closer than you think. Guaranteed. Stop assuming that everything's bad and the woe is us and the economy is crashing. Cool, economy might crash. Doesn't mean you don't need a place to live. And why would you pay someone else's rent instead of paying your mortgage instead of paying your own mortgage? Why would you? I might lose my job. Okay, great. So guess what happens when you lose your job? Your mortgage lender is going to be far more likely to work with you if you're a homeowner than your landlord who's just caring about getting that money from you to pay their mortgage, right? So these are all things that we want to bring up to you so that there is hope. Now's the time to get a deal. It just is. It's not a deal on the rate, but we'll figure out how to get there, right? It's a deal from the other side of the story. And we want to just help you understand that you might be messing up your credit right now because you might be doing this and giving up, thinking,
don't do it.
Thinking things are crashing. I'm not going to buy anyway for a few more years. I might as well spend what I want and not pay my bills and live how I want. Don't do it. Let us help you. Let us help you keep your good credit. Let us help you fix your credit to be good credit again. There's 1,000 ways to look at it. She is an amazing, amazing top 200 loan originators in the United States, and she'll be willing to walk you through it. Yeah. I'm off my soapbox now. Can I take a break?
I love the soapbox.
Let's look at some of our questions. Leolo says, hello, I have a more generalized question. If I have good credit, which is better strategy, to pay down credit card debt or to build up savings?
It really just depends. So it depends on, like, everybody's situation is going to be different. It's always good to have good credit, but maybe your credit is already good enough, right? Like, so if it's a 720 or above, you're going to be the same. You're going to be the same rate as if it was 800. So
that's 720. Hold on. If my rate is 720 in your books, when you pull my rate, I'm going to get mostly the same treatment and the same rate as someone who's at 800.
Yeah.
So I have people that call me all the time. I have to pause you and we will answer your question. I have people that call me all the time and say, I'm only a 720. And I mean, if I could just get to 800, I know I'm going to get a better deal. Doesn't matter. Oh my God, we should do a whole freaking thing about that. It doesn't freaking matter. That's amazing. I had no idea.
It doesn't matter. So sometimes people are like, well, I'm going to pay this off so I can get super high. It doesn't really matter.
You're at 720 and you have that
debt. You're going to get the same rate from 720 to 800. So like if you're looking at credit that's already decent, and you're trying to get it even higher, it might not make a difference.
So then it would be put the money in savings.
So then it would be put the money in savings.
That's great.
Now, if your credit is in like the lower 600s, then we might have different advice for you. So it depends on where your credit is right now and like how everything looks.
And not where your credit is with Credit Karma, my friends, or your credit card or your bank. It's where it is with this lady right here. Yeah. So that's great advice. I had no idea, that you get basically the same rate treatment above 720. Hello. I had a client the other day arguing with me that he said, well, I'm an 810. My wife's a 727. I know I'm going to get the better rates. So we're just going to put it in my name. And I'm like, you should put it in both your names because it doesn't freaking matter. But I had no idea that was true in terms of the rate. That's crazy.
Yeah, same rate. Same rate.
I'm so like blown away right now.
We should do a segment on that. Let's do it.
We're going to. So depending on what your situation looks like, we may tell you to save. We may tell you to split the baby and go both ways.
And it's different for everybody. So it's hard to give a blanket. Here's what's better. It's depending on your situation individually.
Yeah, good point. Oh my God. Great. Is it true that the best time to buy a home is towards the end of the year? From Martha G.
That's a
great question. It is typically our slower time of year. So the best time to buy is literally right now through the end of the year, in my opinion, and possibly into January. But really the bottom line is who wants to buy a house and move during the holidays? Not me, and probably not you. If you're willing to do it, I'm telling you right now, you can get some juicy, crunchy deals. But on top of the fact that it's already a juicy, crunchy time to buy right now as it is. So the answer is yes, it is true. End of the year is a great time to buy. And it depends too, because there's some builders out there, like new home builders, where their end of year is actually end of October or end of November. It's not actually the fiscal year. So, or the calendar year.
Get desperate.
And they're getting desperate. So like if you're thinking about buying, don't wait until December to start looking. I promise you the process of starting to look now is going to help you because you'll have the chance to peruse, think about it, really sleep on it. What do I want? See what else comes on. Let us do some negotiation. Now's the time to start the process. I know it doesn't seem like it's December, but it will be December tomorrow, right? I'm going to do that.
It will be.
Bing. Who's that? Is that
you always have to come up with a bing.
Yeah, or no, I dream of Jeannie. She did the bing. Yeah, Bewitched wiggled her
You're showing your age right there.
I'm all right. I watched it on Nick at Night reruns. Be nice.
Okay. That was a good comeback.
Paul Carl Lucas says, neither were you at Life is Beautiful. Many middle-aged British rock stars missed you. Oh, Paul, damn it. I did not go. I was not feeling well. I had allergies. That's why I looked the way I do.
Obviously, I didn't even know what it was.
2 weekends ago, yeah. But yeah, Life is Beautiful was amazing. Hope you had a good time, Paul. I'm glad you came in and did it. Chris M said, if my current Credit Karma score is 804, would the score be lower or higher for you? We don't know.
Like I'm telling you, I've seen him 100 points low and 100 points high.
I've never seen you react. Okay.
Because every time I get that question and then I pull it, I'm like, damn it. Like there's no rhyme or reason. I mean, 804, you're getting to the high end.
First of all, dope.
So, but there's anything in between too. So there legit is no rhyme or reason.
He's asking a good follow-up though. So Chris M says, okay, so we're saying basically if you're between 720 and 800, you're going to get about the same rate. So it may not matter if we're paying down bills, whatever. But what about if you're above 800? Does it get you any kind of a better rate, better treatment, do they give you a placard at the end of the day? Like what happens?
It depends on the rate is usually the same. Like you're pricing the same rate. Mortgage insurance. So if you're in a mortgage insurance, like you're putting down less than 20%, mortgage insurance does highly benefit you for being like 800.
Above 800. Okay, so that's good to know. So the rate may not be affected, but some of the other costs and expenses tied into a home loan would definitely be affected.
And like homeowners insurance usually benefits you for 800, so you still get a lot of benefits for it.
Good point. Great questions, you guys.
Yeah, I love it.
So really at the end of the day, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything that we made note to talk about. Really at the end of the day, we want to just kind of highlight, now is a great time to buy, now through the end of the year. We don't want you to take yourself off the market of being a possible buyer because you're just throwing caution to the wind and you're listening to Jerome Powell and everybody else talk about how life is ending and blah, blah, blah. That's bull. At the end of the day, you still need a place to live. Las Vegas is an incredible place to make that life happen. We have low taxes, low property taxes. We're the entertainment capital of the world. I don't need to sell Vegas to you. You're watching my channel. You clearly know. But the real truth of the matter is that we're seeing a lot of people kind of give in to the pressure of the news and the bad news and society and all their friends and their uncle and their sister and they're putting crap on credit cards and not paying the bill on time, or they're not paying their bills because they don't feel like it or because they can't because of inflation. So we want to help you understand what you need to do to keep your good credit or fix what might have happened thus far so that you can keep yourself in the game. Because we do feel like this is going to be a good time and a good deal to buy for a few months now, or even up through spring of next year. Who knows, right? All I can see, my little crystal ball can only see really through the end of this year, and that's what I'm seeing.
Today.
I can see through the end of this year. I cannot see rates though, so that's her ball, and her ball's real foggy these days. So
it's real foggy.
It's really foggy. Yeah. Super grateful that you guys joined us today. We're going to be doing another live stream next week, of course, and then I'm going to be doing a live stream where I talk a little bit more about kind of what the actual builders are giving away, because they're giving away the farm.
Are you going to go through builder to builder?
I'm not going to talk about builder to builder because people won't call me to look at the homes. They'll go to the builder directly. So
well, and
I'm going to talk about some of the builder names and things that you should be aware of. Yes.
Well, and what I've seen you guys do with builders, like with builders, when you go in there by yourself, you don't have anybody representing you.
That's right.
So like you guys just went in with a client, and the builder was desperate for year end, so they were able to negotiate.
Oh my God!
By the time I saw the contract, I was like, "Damn!"
Yeah, we just kept going. What else you got? What else you got under there? What else you got under there? Like literally, we were like, go back to Grandma's trunk, go to Mary Poppins' bag, and pull out whatever you got, because we're not leaving until we get everything. So we had a client recently buy a house that was $100,000 less than the week before, because
I haven't seen that kind of deal.
No, I'm not promising you're going to get that, but the builder got a little nutty during the crazy, stuff this last year. They started hiking that price up. They had a client, and it's a model home, by the way, fully built out, beautiful model features, all kinds of stuff. Oh, they started going crazy. Finished backyard, pool, you name it. It's ready. Let's go. $100,000 above. We negotiated them to bring down that price, and then bring it down again, and then add for closing costs, and then add a couple points to pay for the rate to come down. I'm telling you what, I felt so bad after we left that office, because the sales rep was sitting there like, ooh, like he got beat up in a horrible knife fight. You know what I mean?
But at least you kept going for them, though. You can't. I mean, it's hard to do that on your own. You kind of have to know where you have to know what each builder's doing. You got to be.
And guess who knows?
You got to be playing the game a lot. You can't.
We know.
You can't just go through anybody to do that too.
Correct.
Because some people just aren't strong enough to keep asking.
And also we are on it daily. So it changes from day to day, genuinely. So reality is I'm going to be doing on Saturday morning, I'm going to be doing a live stream where I answer questions about new home builds, because that's a really big focus for us. Again, it always is, honestly. Amber does a lot of new home. She also beats up a lot of the new home builder lenders. I'm just going to put it out there. She's not allowed to say this, but I am. So we like to make sure that you're working with us for the new homes and with her if possible for the loan. But either way, we want to let you know that the new homes are bending over backwards to get you in, because they've got a lot of standing inventory that they need to get off their books before the end of the year. And we want to make sure you're a part of it and can take advantage of it. So live streaming on Saturday, I'm going to be putting that up a little bit later tonight, so you can put the reminder on, click the bell and do all that. But we're super stoked about that. And we're really, really excited to just answer your questions specifically about new home builds. I just saw one pop in really quickly. Tracy Johnson said, what's the average new home build time? So it's still actually an extended build time, which is why these guys are so excited to get all of these standing inventories off the market, because once these are moved, they can move their crews and get them moving over to do more. But because of the supply chain demand stuff due to the pandemic, we're seeing anywhere from 9 to 12 to 18 months to build a home. I'm going to tell you right now, if you asked me a year and a half ago, I would have said 4 months to build a home. So that kind of shows you, like, windows aren't coming in, the lumber's delaying.
Right now it's the countertops.
But they've tried to maintain building speed during the pandemic, even with the slowdown. So they've been building homes even with no buyers for the homes. So that's why they're so eager to get these off the books, because they got to keep building and keep building and keep building. So long story short, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time, I'm going to put it on my channel today. Stay tuned. I'm going to post it also. If you watch me on YouTube, make sure you look at my posts. Set the reminder, come in, ask me any question you want about new home builders, and we'll do what we can to answer. Super excited about that. But today was about you. About credit repair. Frankly, it's always about you. It's always about you guys.
We love you guys.
We love you. We want to bring you hope. We want to let you know that all is not dark. We are bringing the light, and we bring it through honestly, just truth. It's truth. We're in the nitty gritty of it every single day. There's days where I go, should I look for another job? And she's like, what are you kidding? This is just a storm. And I go, okay. And then there's days where she's like, I don't know, today was horrible. I'm like, what are you kidding? It's just a storm.
We have to lift each other up all the time.
And so we're here to do that for you too. So thank you for always joining our live streams. Thank you for being such big supporters.
Yes,
we can't wait to keep bringing you light. We're going to be back next Wednesday, as always, with an update for you on the market. I'll see you on Saturday. And I've got a couple of really awesome videos that I'm uploading this weekend as well. So if you're not following, you better do so now. Subscribe. And if you don't smash that like button, I'm going to be truly offended. Right?
Yes.
Amber, as always, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much
Love
for having me.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for all your questions too.
If you're not following Amber, please do so. She's got an amazing YouTube channel that she does a lot of funny little short clips that give you some hope and also information, and also great updates on her channel that have nothing to do with me. So go over to Amber Coleman. Just search Amber Coleman. You'll find her. She's on YouTube. She's on everywhere.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.